This week on Cartoon Dumpster Dive, we cover the cartoon The PJs, The Projects. Joel, I have a question for you and for the listener.
Yes, Andrew.
Is it offensive that we're covering the PJs during Black History Month? If the answer is yes, don't worry about it. If the answer is no, great.
You know, I didn't even put that those two together. Andrew.
Oh, that's absolutely why I wanted to do this.
Hey, that's a good thing.
Okay,
though,
look,
right?
Sure. The content of what the PJs is not exactly, I don't know, PC. But it's a black creator, you know,
Look,
black writers, black musicians. There's a lot of love in the community that went into the show.
Get your ants out of your pants. That's all I gotta say.
Nobody remembers it.
Dude, I remember this.
Do you?
I love this.
Oh, I love the
as
PJs.
a kid.
I thought it was great. There's only one thing I don't like about the PJs.
What's that?
Well, we'll get into it.
Oh, okay.
But before we get into it, let's review that theme song.
Let's hit it.
Once upon a time in the projects. Low rent, high rise, y'all. Yeah. Holding down a cardboard condo, homeboy and a homemade bungalow. In the middle of the end of the day, in one way.
Super good.
That's it, man. 8. I was gonna give it a 9.
Yeah?
Andrew.
Nice.
Yeah, because I don't know. This is one of those songs.
I've been singing it all week.
Dude, I'm going to sing it for months now.
Yeah.
PJs, Projects.
I even listen to it in my spare time just because like that middle bar where it ends in one way, I still can't do it. But I love the PJs theme song. For sure.
It's fantastic. I remember when this show was airing, I remember like loving to hear this theme song because you knew that you was about to get some great television, basically.
Yeah, for sure. So,
Yep.
Joel, how did the PJs get made?
Ooh, Andrew, the PJs. So let's go ahead, get this out of the way. The PJs was a adult animated stop motion, not even a cartoon, just a show. Ran for 3 seasons, total 44 episodes. First aired on January 10th, 1999, and ran all the way up to May 20th of 2001.
Do you not consider claymation to be a cartoon?
See, I don't know. I would say no. To me, cartoons strictly like drawn kind of animation.
I consider it a cartoon because claymation's just a form of animation.
You are correct in that. So yeah.
Well, I don't know. I was curious what your thought process was on that.
Yeah, I'm just me. It's always, if it looks like a cartoon, it's a cartoon. If not, it's a show.
If it's a claymation, it's like a different category.
Yeah.
I feel
But so this one, which I don't know if you recall when it was airing, their big push with this show was it was from the mind of Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy was on fire at this point.
Yep. So it was actually created by Eddie Murphy, Larry Wilmore, and Steve Tompkins. The story goes, Larry Wilmore, which he's done several different things at this.
He's the canceled Too Soon nightly show, and he was a correspondent in Jon Stewart's Daily Show.
Yes, he was. So at this time, he had worked on several films. Not films, but several different shows up until this point. He had worked on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, The Jamie Foxx Show, basically all of this stuff. I think he even did some stuff in Living Color, but he wanted to go out and actually start creating something. He didn't want to be supporting writers. He wanted something new. And the story goes that he went in, was talking to some studios, things like that. And then someone just casually brings up to him that, hey, Eddie Murphy is wanting to create a cartoon. Would you be interested in it? He first said no. He didn't want to deal with cartoons. Then they went back to him and they said, well, this isn't your traditional cartoon. It's aimed at like prime time. It's going to be more for adult audience. And it's supposed to use this, really what they call foamation, which I think, the big start that foamation got was with, there was something else. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head.
California Raisins?
That's it.
Is it?
Yes. Okay. The foamation, which was created by the California Raisins, was used for this.
Okay.
Once Larry actually kind of got an idea of what Eddie Murphy wanted to do, he jumped on board with it. And really from here, it was just, they brought in Steve Tompkins to kind of help create the story as well. And Eddie Murphy they wanted to tell a story of a black family living in the projects and just kind of all the wild and characters you would get basically in a close-knit community like the projects. And they just ran with it. And Fox told them, hey, nope, we'll give you guys a series. It ran, and I always thought this was weird. It did the first 2 seasons on Fox. Then the show moved to the WB.
Do you know what that means, though? The one accolade this show has above all other shows.
What's that?
So because it was in association with Touchstone Television for seasons 1 and 2, it's Disney's first adult animated series. And then season 3, when it moves to Warner Brothers, it's WB's first adult animated series.
Look at that, man. Eddie Murphy and them got it, got away with these two.
They broke ground on both networks.
But I mean, that's really it. It was just this brainchild that Eddie Murphy wanted to do, get some, great writers and actors who kind of come in and help with this. But like you said, even when it came out, there was people that was giving pushback against this show as well.
Oh yeah,
Andrew.
It had a lot of controversy with how black people were portrayed for sure. But I mean, it's a comedy, But let's get into the voice cast, shall we? So the voice cast for the PJs is Eddie Murphy, Thurgood Stubbs, Loretta Devine, Muriel Stubbs, Janet DuBois, Miss Avery, Michael Morgan, Juicy Hudson,
Juicy,
Pepe Cernier, Mr. Sanchez, Michael Paul Chan, Jimmy Ho, and Sean Michael Howard is Smokey. So obviously we know Eddie Murphy from a lot of things. The Nutty Professor, Beverly Hills Cop, Donkey from Shrek. His most recent work was Candy Cane Lane. I believe that's on Netflix. Loretta Devine is Shaniqua in Crash.
Okay.
Janet DuBois is Willona Woods in Good Times.
Good Times.
Michelle Morgan, is Cheryl in the movie Bulworth. Great movie, by the way. It's about a senator who becomes a rapper. Just watch it. Pepe Cerna is Punk number 1 in The Jerk.
Okay.
Michael Paul Chan is Mr. Lee in Falling Down, and Data's father in The Goonies.
Ooh.
And finally, Sean Michael Howard is a basketball player in The Cable Guy.
We're talking basketball.
So, Joel, first things first. This is the first thing when I went to go rewatch the PJs, because as you know, if you go back and watch like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, for example, it looks a little rough. It looks a little cheap. The first thing I thought about this, I was like, no wonder this got canceled. This looks expensive. This is phenomenal looking. Even by today's standards. I was like, I was blown away. Like, they do this every episode, and I'm sure this is just save on the animation budget. You do a fly-in shot of the high rise of the projects as it goes down into Thurgood and Muriel Stubbs's. They live in the basement because Thurgood is the super. And every animation thing they had, I was like, this thing, if it had just been more popular, because that was its problem. It was too expensive to make and nobody was watching it. And it was just hemorrhaging money. But I said this earlier in the episode, there is actually only one joke thing that I don't like. And that's Thurgood's puns that he makes with various black celebrities. Like, he'll go, Whitney Houston. Oop. Guys, so close to not doing it. You go, Whitney Houston, we have a problem. And so, yeah, it's just, I don't find it that funny.
I found that stuff hilarious.
Well, you love puns.
I do love puns.
A lot.
Oh, also,
if you ever meet Joel in real life, just do a pun. He'll laugh.
I love it. I love a good pun. Andrew, also, they've said that every episode of this show costed $1 million to make.
Jesus Christ. And that was 1999 money, where $1 million meant something. Now, $1 million means nothing.
It makes so much sense, because you are correct. The animation in this is superb. And obviously fantastic.
they put their best foot forward with the voice work too. Like, Eddie Murphy's known for playing, like, at this point, especially in the 90s, he's known for like playing like 8 characters in one movie.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And then everybody else is bringing their A game when they do it too. Who would you say is your favorite member of the projects?
Oh God. So like, I always, as a kid, I love the kids. Like, going back, I like them now. But I don't know, like, going back and watching it now, I kind of just love all of them.
Yeah, it's hard to pick a favorite. If I did, it would either be Smokey or Juicy.
I was about to say Smokey's always
of Miss Avery.
Smokey's always a good one. Miss Avery was a good one too.
But Juicy having to, both of Juicy's parents, they're too fat to fit through the front door. And Juicy, all of Juicy's jokes is just, he's a fat kid. But the main joke of Juicy is whenever he leaves the house, his parents are like, all right, Juicy, don't forget to put on your sign. And he has to put on a sign that says, do not feed.
Yep.
And it's just, Juicy's also dumb. So there's one point where I think they get a door. No, it's a category 5 toilet clog.
Oh yeah.
And Thurgood is trying to like solve it. So, with this, it's a hurricane toilet clog. It even causes a tornado. And Juicy's like, well, what does the super just use as superpowers? And Calvin's like, Juicy, super means he's the superintendent, not that he's a superhero. He goes, oh, he gonna die. Oh, yeah, and you also never see Juicy's parents. You just see, I don't think you ever see his dad. You don't see his mom. You just see his dad, and his dad is just like an arm and a big old belly like that just sticks out of the door. And he's like, Juicy, where you at?
So
Smokey's
good.
just great because I like Smokey for an animation purpose too, because making a twitchy crackhead an animation seems like such an overhaul for what is essentially just a jokey character that they use to make fun of the crack epidemic.
Yeah, it's basically Dave Chappelle's Tyrone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
There was one, the subtle jokes also got me too, where, they're outside for something and they're all listening to the radio and the announcer goes, with the senator's new law, and basically with the senator's new law passing, it should completely negate the 14th Amendment. And like, if you look up the 14th, you have to go out and look up the 14th Amendment, but it's like, it's like a stop and frisk, or it's basically something that prevents profiling. You're like, Jesus Christ. Let's see. Well, yeah. Do you have anything that really stands out when it comes to this show?
Honestly, the show is just hilarious. I mean, this show is just, like, to me, you can't get a character creation like this. You can't develop just such quirky characters without some sort of real life experience to someone like that.
So you know how we're from the South.
Yep.
Both of us. And there's a show that used to come on the air called Squidbillies. And while it was an over-exaggeration of what it's like to live down here, we knew people who were like Rusty, who were like early Kyler. I feel like if you were from the city, you could definitely see like versions of the PJs in your own life. Like maybe not as exaggerated, but they're all there. Like all the stereotypes are there for sure. Even like the Rasta lady, there's an Asian guy who marries Muriel's sister, Bebe, and he uses like a lot of what he calls ghetto phrases, and they all get annoyed with him.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just, it's all on Tubi. Every episode.
It's on
season
Hulu
1
too.
through 3. Is it on Hulu?
Yep.
I found it on, I could have watched this ad free. Son of a bitch.
I watched mine on Hulu.
Oh, yeah. I watched it on Tubi. So
to me, this show, I mean, I've had fun going back and rewatching this. I enjoyed it when it was coming out on air, like back in, 2000. I think everybody should at least give it a shot. I think it's a great show.
Also, crossover with Futurama.
Right.
In Luck of the Fryish, there is a manhole that is the PJs, and in the introduction, it's the PJs logo is a manhole with Thurgood Stubbs' face on it, and in the PJs episode, Cliffhanger with Mr. Super featured Philip J. Fry on a missing poster on a milk carton. So that was their two subtle cameos.
Crossovers.
The crossover. Pretty neat.
It is
neat. Joel, I believe it's time to go to your new reoccurring segment. Reviews that need government housing are reviews that live in the high rise.
Ooh, nice.
Thank you.
I like it. There was only one out of 10 store.
That should be absolutely it.
It's a little lengthy. I'm not going to read it. It's just titled, "This is just plain racist." So you can guess what this person's complaint is.
That's a hard argument to make when literally everyone behind this show is black. You know, this is like a liberal white lady saying something like, where she's like, "You need to be quiet while I defend you," kind of deal.
Yep. But dude, my thing is, it doesn't matter if you're white or whatever, but if you grew up in the projects, I mean, if you've had experience like this, who says you can't make comedy?
Make a show about it. Absolutely.
Exactly. It's your life. Who fucking cares?
Yeah. If somebody gave you what did you say, $1.3 million an episode?
Per episode.
Yeah. No. They put their heart into this, and it shows. It shows a lot.
Oh yeah. So this is a 10 out of 10, Andrew. Just titled, "I thought it was a riot." I really miss this series. And by the way, this comment, it was actually posted in 2004. So just shortly after this show went off of air. I really miss this series. The first time I saw it, had a the first time I saw it, I had a splitting headache and was just flipping channels. I started watching and I couldn't stop laughing. It made me completely forget my headache. The humor may have been directed at people who live in the projects, but I found many gaffes applied to all of society. Afterwards, I turned in as often as I could, but it seemed to be on again, off again. I will never forget the crackhead character, Smokey or Sparky, I think, riding down a hill in a shopping cart yelling, "I'm the king of the world," a la Titanic. I think Eddie Murphy really had a hit on his hands, and I wonder why it went off the air. If anyone knows why it was dropped, could you let me know, please?
Well, here it is. What's his username?
His username, Avro Arrow.
Avro Arrow. Here's the deal. It's too much money to make, and nobody was watching it. So
no,
that's how it goes.
Nobody was watching it because it was kind of sandwich. I mean, you was going on a channel where you had The Simpsons, Futurama, King of the Hill. I mean, it was just...
Yeah, but it came, originally, it was before King of the Hill. So
exactly.
It's they had it in a good time slot.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Just...
I think the foamation style, for some reason, I feel like that kind of turns people off.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think it was just too much money.
It probably was.
Because if you look at how much even King of the Hill and The Simpsons is, a per episode, and it's this is a new show, and
Yeah.
it cost $1.3 million an episode.
I mean, crazy.
And as we have seen with most things, they don't get cheaper. Like when you make a show, it doesn't get cheaper on the second season. You want to add more shit. So it's probably season 2 and season 3 or even more money.
Yeah. So I did, doing my research for the show, I did find something kind of interesting.
All right.
Because there was a lot of talk when this show was airing about the fact that Eddie Murphy's name is plastered all over this thing. But he was not promoting the show. So, and like the official word from his agent was that he didn't have time to promote the show. Okay? They said that he was like working on 3 films at the time, just really didn't have time to hit the circuit, promote it, things like that. Now, there was a brief period in the late 90s. I don't know if you recall this, because it was like you saw Eddie Murphy everywhere.
Right.
Like you would see him on like every, news station, whatever it is. You saw him everywhere. But there was that. I do remember there was a brief period where it's like Eddie Murphy fell off the ward. Like he was still doing stuff, but you just really wouldn't see him in the public eye. Let's put it like that.
Well, he made a few whiffs.
He did. But I like this. And it all has to do with, in 1997, his prostitution incident.
Do you think? Yeah, I guess so, that did happen. Yeah,
because in 97, he gets stopped by California police for picking up a prostitute, a transgender prostitute. The police just let him go, but they arrest the prostitute.
And it's the 90s, so like they ate him alive.
And she goes on the record, like she sells her story to basically the National Enquirer, which was like TMZ back in the day.
Yeah, basically. Still around.
Yeah. Shalimar Zaluli, I think is how you pronounce her name. But here's the crazy thing, Andrew. That happened in 97. Right. And in 98, she ends up dying. And the cause of her death is that they said she got locked out of her apartment, tried to climb down to her balcony from the roof, and fell and like hit her head and killed herself.
Damn.
That way.
Damn. That's rough.
But I don't know. I like to think Eddie Murphy might have had a play in it.
Allegedly. Legally, we have to say that. Allegedly.
Look, okay, let me scratch that. That is not my opinion. Okay? I am just saying Eddie Murphy had this stint, this little incident, and then all of a sudden he stops promoting any movie he's a part of, doesn't promote Mulan anymore, doesn't promote Life, he kind of falls off the map. This nice lady winds up dead within a year later. She can no longer go on her circuit that she was doing about, Eddie Murphy. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows?
We're going to get in trouble.
But that
has been Conspiracy Dumpster Dive.
Look, that's
also
just
another thing about this show, and this kind of ties into what you were saying, Joel. Eddie Murphy didn't come in for a lot of the later seasons to voice, so a voice actor by Phil Morris had to step in. Honestly, I watched a lot of season 2, 3. I
can't tell.
I can't tell.
He did a fantastic job. Killed it. Crushed it.
But I believe that wraps up the PJs. Any closing thoughts?
Check it out. Still a great show.
Still good.
Don't let anybody tell you this show is racist or anything. I mean, if you want to look for racism in it, guess what? You'll find it.
Yeah, you will find it.
Yeah. But if you just want to see, okay, let me look at a story, a joke from someone with a different history and background
Yeah.
to me, it's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
It's hilarious.
Absolutely. It's on Tubi, it's on Hulu. You can find it. Probably one of the easier shows we've covered lately that we could find.
Yep.
And
Actually
yeah, check it out. For sure.
Worth a watch.
Yeah, it really is worth a watch. But I believe that wraps up the show.
The projects.
The projects.
Living in the PJs.
If you would like to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/cartoondd. That gives you access to our Discord, stickers, pins, and more mailed to your door. The more is coming later. Also bonus episodes and extended audio episodes. We have an X handle CartoonDD. We are on all the other social media platforms as Cartoon Dumpster Dive. We have an email, cartoondumpsterdive@gmail.com, and a website, cartoondumpsterdive.com. There you can send us a request for a cartoon, 2 cartoons to go head to head in our Junkyard Brawl, and much, much more. We'll do it all. Hopefully, if it's animation related, but we'll do other shit too. And as always, we appreciate a 5-star review on the podcasting platform of your choice. Also, I've really been enjoying reading the responses in the spot for the Spotify listeners when they answer the questions. Are there some other questions you want me to? Because I can write questions in the episodes on Spotify. So let me know what you want to see asked. But have a great rest of your week.
See ya. Living in the PJs.
This has been a Lug Hole Podcast.